What is the most messed up thing your parents have done to you? My mom kicked me out 2 years ago in favor of her boyfriend who bullied me in high school. My dad passed away when I was only 1. It's been me and my mom ever since. As you can guess, my mom and I were very close. When I was a sophomore in high school, my mom got a part-time job as a gym teacher at my school. I supported her when she asked if I would be comfortable with it. It was extremely uncomfortable when guys would make comments on my mom's appearance. It also gave ammo to Brad, who bullied me in high school. He would make inappropriate comments about her towards me. Brad was a year ahead of me, so I thought I was finally rid of him after he graduated. I was wrong. When I became a senior, my mom started going out very often. Initially, I was happy for her because I wanted her to find someone nice. However, it came to a point where we barely got any time together. To be frank, I thought she was avoiding me. This was because whenever I tried to make plans with her, she had already made plans before. I sort of kept it to myself because I didn't want to come off needy. I didn't complain when she missed my birthday because she was out all night. When she tried to apologize the next day, I told her it was okay. After 6 months of this behavior, I decided to take action. I asked my mom if we could have dinner together, just the two of us. She said she was too busy. I got fed up and told her to stop ignoring me. She said that she wasn't ignoring me but that she had a life to live. That really hurt me a lot. Out of anger, I started to ignore her for a few days. After those days passed, she finally apologized to me. However, she said she needed to talk to me about something important. She wanted to introduce me to her boyfriend at dinner. She didn't sound excited about it. It sounds like she almost dreaded it. When the door rang, my mom opened it up and introduced the guy to me. I was in extreme shock. It was Brad. I screamed at my mom, asking her what he was doing here. Brad came forward to acknowledge that this situation was uncomfortable, but he's sorry for how he treated me in school and that he really cares about my mom. My mom asked us to sit and let her explain how this all happened. I remember screaming, "I don't give a damn about your explanation. You tossed me aside for this piece of crap. You're a pathetic excuse of a mother." My mom then defended him and said, "Don't you dare call him that." She then said she tried to accommodate everyone in this tough situation by keeping the relationship away from me. She then said, "Like it or not, Brad is here to stay. If you don't like it, you're more than welcome to leave." I packed my bags right there and then. I called my grandma and told her about the whole situation. She drove to my house and confronted my mom. After a shouting match between them, I left with my grandma. My mom tried calling me several weeks after, but I blocked her. She tried to visit me, but I called the cops on her. After that, she sort of gave up. It had been 2 years since I'd heard from my mom. Then I got a call from her yesterday. She said it's urgent and we needed to meet up. I didn't know if I should go, but curiosity got the best of me. There was also a burning desire to unload on her. I finally texted back my mom this morning asking where we should meet. She said we could meet for lunch at the restaurant at 12 p.m. I didn't have any class today, so I was good to go. When I arrived at the restaurant, I heard some woman scream my name. It was my mom, who I haven't seen for 2 years. She asked how I was and said she would hug me, but she knew I would reject it. Her voice was shaking when she asked me to follow her to her table. Unsurprisingly, Brad was sitting there. He didn't even look me in the eye as we sat down. He just nodded his head as if to simply acknowledge my arrival. As my mom sat down, she started shooting out multiple questions. "What you've been up to? Are you in school? How's it going?" I got annoyed and told her, "Stop wasting my time with these questions. What do you want from me?" She responded, "Well, before we tell you, can we explain how all of this happened?" I said sure.
And she would look at me smugly. The breaking point to all of this was when I put a bit of meat onto my plate, and she said, "Are you really going to eat all of that?" And I froze, in embarrassment, while my husband and her laughed. Her mother stood up for me, saying that was inappropriate and to treat guests with respect, but she ignored it. Laura is very pretty and slim and works out, so coming from her, it hurt a lot. I stood up from my chair and walked out the front door and called my dad. I told him to pick me up and that I'll explain why in the car. When I got in the car, I broke down and told him everything. He said I was most likely overreacting, but the situation was very odd and that I'm welcome to stay with him for the time being. I thanked him and went back to our house. While I was getting comfortable, my phone flooded up with messages from my husband and Laura. I read the messages, and to my horror, my husband was saying I ruined the whole dinner and that he was going to stay there for the night. I then read what Laura said, saying I had ruined her night because of my pick-me behavior. After doing research on that word, it's only filled me up with more anger. My husband came home around 5 p.m. from Laura's, and I immediately said leaving me and staying at another woman's house was disgusting. And he started shouting that I'm overreacting again and that I need to go to counseling for my jealousy issues. For about a month, everything was going okay again. Apart from that, my husband getting more distant and cold, and I could feel that our argument wedged a gap in our marriage until I got a message from Laura this morning. She had a positive pregnancy result. She said I should get divorced because it's my husband's. I was initially crushed and doubted myself. But after the pain subsided, I realized the only failure was my husband's, not mine. I confronted Jason and demanded the full truth about his relationship with Laura. Though he denied everything at first, I said I needed proof he was not the father, via a paternity test when the child was born. Jason's continued refusal to be transparent confirmed he had betrayed our vows. As difficult as it was, I met with divorce lawyers to start the process of disentangling our life. When the baby arrived, A paternity test confirmed Jason was the father. Laura seduced a married man, but he broke sacred promises. I don't regret walking away to protect my dignity. Besides, his little pecker is nowhere near big enough in order to knock me up.